Hi everyone, I'm excited to have with us today on the interview Erin Brown Conroy. Erin is an author, a speaker, and a motivator on creativity, fiction, and nonfiction writing. She also teaches how to read and how to learn. She's the master teacher at 2 online schools, designing and overseeing their writing programs and instructors, and she's taught college courses in writing leadership, communication, research, the fine arts, and wellness for 13 years. And she's been speaking around the world on learning and creativity. And she also designs and teaches True North Reading, a worldwide online learn to read program. She's also a musician and a health geek, which is wonderful. And one other thing that we should mention is that she's a mom many times over. She does all this with 13 children, which is totally amazing. So you can find more about Erin and the fun creative things she talks about at erinbrownconroy.wordpress.com. So hi Erin, I'm so glad you're here.
It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, well I just, I had first, caught a glimpse of your blog posts at James Prescott.
Yes.
His blog. If you're listening right now, you might want to know jamesprescott.co.uk. I think that's his website. But yeah, you can find Erin's guest posts there too, as well as on Erin's WordPress site. But I was just I was fascinated because you brought together. I'm totally a story person, and so you brought together the fiction world along with into real life, and you kind of mix them together, and I realized that they're sort of drawn. They obviously the fiction is drawn from real life, but I don't know. I think it was just how you said it that just totally it rang a new bell in my head. So yeah. And so
when James and I talked about doing that blog, James, a friend of mine,
yes.
Through professionally, and then now through other things that we're doing together. He first said, free reign.
Yeah.
Do what you like. But then we talked more about story and writing,
Yes.
and a lot of your listeners and people who go to your blog are writers and into story, and story is a part of life. Well, story is a part of everyone's life.
Yes.
And we live story, and we write story, and we understand story through our own experiences. It's all connected.
Yes.
It's all connected. And so I love to connect. I love to make meaning out of what we're going through every day.
Yes.
Right. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
And to take it into the writer's realm and say, ooh, we can use this in our writing, Yes. But also to take writing and use it in our own lives.
Yeah.
To become better people and to reflect on who we are. So I don't want to sound too mystical or too philosophical, whatever, but story and real life are so intricately connected. They really are.
Yes, they are, and I just loved how you sort of put that together, right? I don't know. It's just one of those things that sort of gives you a new take, I guess, on not just on writing your fiction, but on the story you're living every day. And so that's really good. So do you mind if we kind of get into the questions and?
That's great.
Yeah. Okay. So do you mind just sharing what you're comfortable with, your story, like when you first realized that you were a writer and a musician and had all this
Sure.
creative bent in you?
Sure. I think I knew I was a writer when I was really little.
Awesome.
We have things that we do when we're small that really we enjoy doing. We know we gravitate, we're pulled toward those things. And I kept journals, and I wrote stories, and I did all kinds of things myself. And I'd have little secret things that I wrote and slid them under my drawer. Did you guys do that, right?
Yeah.
And it was just a part of my personal life, my secret life, who I was at the core.
Yes.
That I really didn't share with people. I was really shy when I was young.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And a very quiet and compliant child, and I've become such a different person. When I taught at Cornerstone University years ago, I had someone in my class who I knew at high school, and he did a double thesis. Wait. Are you Erin Brown? Yes, Erin Brown Conroy. I said, yeah. Well, he introduced himself and said, I knew you in high school. And, oh my goodness, you are not the same person.
Yeah.
I said, I think I'll take that as a good thing. I don't know. He said, "Oh, no, you were good then too, but just we do grow and change and become." So going back to my story, I was very quiet and kept to myself and had this whole world of imagination that I really loved to be in. So in our family, everyone is a musician. It's just a part of who we are. We
awesome.
have my family on the West Coast, my uncles, my dad's family, really, they were involved. My uncle is a friend of Lauren Bacall and, all the old famous actors and Bob Hope and all those guys.
Awesome.
He rubbed shoulders with them.
Yeah.
And in film and all that. And I have a cousin today who's a producer of film out in Hollywood. And my mother's side of the family, or my grandmother, was actually on Broadway.
Oh,
and
wow.
So just performing and being in music, that's just all a part of who we were.
Yes.
And our family grew up in that way. And so I learned a musical instrument, and I really loved to draw. I loved to be creative on my own, again in my room, doing my things. And I decided to go on into college in actually visual arts, in drawing and painting.
Yeah.
But within the first semester, and I was getting a music minor, and within the first semester, one of the professors pulled me in and said, no, you can't do both. They both take so much time, and we can come back to this later about the time that it takes.
Okay, yeah.
But they both take so much time. We really don't think you should do both. You should choose. And of course, the art professor's thinking she's going to choose art. Well, I chose music because I always come back to art, and I am doing that. Some paintings in the background. I'm painting now. But music, I thought, I can't come back to music you need to really hone that skill and be diligent.
Yeah.
And musicians listening right now know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Music is something that you have to keep. It's like, typing in the keyboard and having your fingers be nice and smooth. Playing an instrument, using your fingers, your voice, it has to be practiced. Those pathways have to be smooth.
Yes.
And so I actually had my first life as a musician for 10 years, directing some groups and choirs. I did a Christian contemporary group I was a director of.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
A little bit of traveling. I know. That's the background. People are like, what? You did this? I did I worked with a church in their leadership in music for 7 years with programming and did transcribing and arranging. Worked in the studio, as a studio musician. My brother owned a recording studio, and so did that for 10 years, and then had some life changes that moved me into a different direction. And I thought, I need to get a job. I need to get a job with more money.
Yes. Yeah.
We all know the starving artist
yes.
thing, right?
Yeah.
And so I actually went back to school for a master's in blind rehabilitation. Now you say blind rehabilitation, why would you choose something like that? Well, I know it's silly, but part of it was paid for by the government.
Oh, okay.
It was, they needed people in the field. And I'd been teaching music for a lot of years and doing a lot of people work. And I thought, well, I can, work with people one-on-one and who are low vision and are visually impaired. And it seemed like a neat field to go into.
Yeah.
Well, I did do that for quite some time. Moved to Chicago, came back. I'll shorten the story here. Came back to Michigan. I'm a Michigander.
Yes, that's great.
And in Michigan, got again involved in music and writing. I had people come to me, and actually, how do I shorten this? I was working. We had a lot of kids.
Yes.
And I was teaching a lot, and I was teaching teachers how to work with kids.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And in that, I was, again, I'm just trying to shorten this down for everybody so it doesn't sound like this crazy, long, weird story. I was just able to be asked to present at conferences, to be asked to speak and teach, and on learning and teaching. And so I started doing the speaking thing. Yeah. And every time I spoke, people said, you need to write this down.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Why would you please write this down and make a book? And I was like, no, I'm not an author. No, I don't think I want to do that. Yeah. And so someone came to me and said, well, publish this book. Would you write this book? It was 20 Secrets to Success with Your Child. It's on Amazon, and actually I'd presented a number of years at conferences with that. So I said, okay, well, I had no idea what I was getting into. Okay, authors out there who are new.
Yeah.
I had no clue. And I think if I would have known, I might not have, I don't know, would I have gone in this direction? It's a lot of work. It's a lot of passion. It's a lot of learning.
Yeah.
About being an author.
Yes.
You know? And it's much more learning than I anticipated.
Yeah.
And so, again, to shorten the story, I ended up writing a number of books and diving into being a nonfiction author. Well, as soon as I started writing again, guess what? All that little girl writing came back. The desire to write fiction.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
And because you start in nonfiction, you put story in.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
We open up with story. In speaking, we open up with story. We use stories to illustrate points.
Yes. Yeah.
And it just sparked that again. I thought, oh my goodness, this has been hiding.
Yeah.
You know, I need to let. And so then I began to write fiction. And as I was teaching at Patrick Henry College, I was teaching the research writing and college level writing at that time. And though I had designed and written and taught for 14 years, I'd been flagged by an accreditation agency as not having enough credits. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So the president of the college said to me, have you ever thought about going back and getting your terminal degree? And I said, yeah, in about 10 years. He said, oh, well, I highly encourage you to do that. You know, when your boss says, I highly encourage you. So I did go back 3 years ago and got my MFA, the Master of Fine Arts in Fiction Writing.
Oh, okay.
Terminal degree.
Yep.
And finished that this summer, but I'm actually doing a screenwriting add-on right now. So I have a double course in screenwriting. Because, boy, once you get into fiction, it consumes you.
Yes.
Story becomes the passion of story. And again, those of you watching or listening, if you're story writers, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's just something special communicated in story that doesn't get communicated anywhere else. And so I can speak to an audience. I can write a nonfiction book. I can write a curriculum. But there's something about story that grabs the heart. And really, as you said, it touches us and it speaks to ourselves in our own life.
Yes.
It helps us to figure out some things and to feel emotions and to process our own emotions and our own desires. And it's just so much deeper stuff, you know, going on.
It is, yeah.
So I've been all over the board. You know, as a visual artist, as a musician, as a writer, fiction, nonfiction, as a teacher. And I think God uses everything.
Yes.
The God of the universe who has a plan and a purpose and fits things together.
Yeah.
I want to give just a little story, if I can.
Yes.
About that, because I've always wondered about the blind rehabilitation side trip that I did. Yeah. And I call it a side trip, that master's, and working for a number of years in that. Well, 8 of our 13 children are adopted internationally. Okay. And our youngest son is 13. He was born in Guatemala. His name is Benjamin Jonathan. And 2 years ago, he started losing his sight, genetically. Oh. And he is now visually impaired. And he sees a 4-degree field of view, which is like a little tiny straw. All of his peripheral vision is gone, and his acuity or his clarity is also low.
Oh, wow.
But I thought, who would have thought that a child who was adopted so many years ago, when this came out and he became blind, that this is a specialty that I have. God
yes.
Years ago in putting him in with our family and allowing me to be his mom.
Oh, isn't that amazing? That's just amazing.
To have the skills, the abilities.
Yeah.
And as a tag on that story, you can go to Facebook, Benjamin Jonathan, Yonattan. He has a Facebook page because he's a dancer. He also has a very rare skin condition. And so because of that, started dancing when he was young.
Yes.
To express himself and to have activity because he couldn't play sports.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He would break his skin. So he started a Facebook page. And then this happened, and he... Just go to his page. He's
love to do that, yeah.
He was on a track to be a professional dancer, and he still is. But now he's being inspiration and encouragement, and he's using Google Glass to see a greater field of view. We're doing something that no one in the whole world is doing right now. If you visit his page and take a peek, the story, yes, I will write that story someday. It's not done yet.
Okay.
But the story is that how God weaves into our life the timing.
Yes.
The timing to do. So if you have a desire to be creative, to write, to sing, to dance, to draw, to do whatever, and it's there, the time might not be right.
Yeah.
But it's there. And when that time is right, it will be so obvious to you.
Yeah.
You'll feel that passion, that desire to create in this special God-given creation bent that you have. And creatives are a really interesting bunch of people.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah.
But creativity doesn't go away. Creativity is there. And we all have creativity.
Yes.
We all have the bent because God created us. As a creator, He gave us in His image.
Yes.
We're going to create.
Yeah.
Some of us, it's just a passion. And it's there and it's strong and it doesn't go away. My message is don't push it down.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really good.
Let it go because it is a God thing.
Yeah.
It's a part of the core of who you are.
Yes.
And to express creatively allows you to be who you're meant to be.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's really good. I was just thinking as you were talking. I think sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes we've gotten it maybe from parents, but sometimes it's been a cultural thing where you feel like you should just hone in on one thing. But and maybe it can be sequential, but maybe there's a way to work all of the creativity that you have in you, to work that out in your life. I don't know. Would you talk about that a little?
I think that balance is a really hard part of everyone's life.
Yeah.
And we have to make money.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
We have to care for people, whether it's a child or a parent or
Yes. Whoever.
We have caretaking.
Yes.
We have physical movement. We have, the body, soul, mind, spirit. We have all these things to take care of personally. And then we have our creativity.
Yes.
That we can think of as on top of that too, but it really weaves into we use creativity everywhere we go. We can use creativity.
Yes.
Balance is really hard.
Yeah.
And because every moment is a choice of how I'm going to use my time.
Yes.
And those of us who have lots of desires and lots of things, we have to prioritize. We have to think, what is right for now?
Yes.
What's the best thing for now? And I'm kind of going through that right now with some options, some opportunities that I have with someone who's a friend of mine who's a filmmaker. And her film is coming out this year, and she needs someone to work with some very well-known authors to help bring together a book that's going with her movie. And she's saying, "Can you do this for me?" And I'm like, "I want to," but what we have to do as creatives, because we want to jump on everything creative, right?
Yes.
Feel that?
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
Yes.
Let's go. Does anyone else listening feel that?
Oh.
Yes, rabbit trails,
Yeah.
but no, to be able to say, here's my purpose right now. Here's where God is leading. Being really thinking about it, really prioritizing, praying about it. I do a lot of, I wouldn't call it journaling, because journaling is more of just your feelings, but I do a lot of writing of goal ideas of what I want to do next, where I want to go. I have lists that I make. I make a piece on my desk. It's really messy.
Yeah.
Sign of a creative.
Exactly.
But that process helps me to prioritize.
Yeah.
And so I think that choosing a focus is really important. And if you're blogging, to choose a focus.
Yeah.
Not be all over the place, 3, 4, 5 things. If you're shooting at everything, you're not going to hit anything.
Yeah.
To have a specific blog direction.
Yeah.
A target audience. We talk about that. If you're writing, to write in a genre or a form of a genre and get that genre down.
Yeah.
Really feel comfortable with that genre. Yes, you can write a mystery and write an action adventure and write a historical fiction, But if you do a couple in one genre, it really helps you to solidify
Yes.
your skill.
Yeah.
Because it is not just the passion, it's the skill.
Yeah.
Something I've learned in my MFA program. My goodness, there's so many skills to know.
Yeah.
And practice. So I don't know if I answered your question, talking about balance and decisions and focus. We all have the same 4 hours.
Yes, exactly. No,
but we
yeah.
really have to decide intentionally what we want to do with our time.
Yeah, no, that did. It's there's just always a lot always to think about when you have so many ideas, right? And that's just, it never ends as a creative person.
It doesn't. I joke about the cartoon that's up online. You'll see the creative person, and it says the creative person's brain. Have you seen it? It's like this big old, you have a thought balloon. This is not a thought balloon. This is like an on fire, crazy, colorful. Yes, 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 and yes, right? And creative people listening will understand that your brain is on fire. In fact, I did a blog post at my Erin Brown Conroy at WordPress.com just a few posts ago.
Yes.
About entrepreneurs and creative entrepreneurs, and our brain is on fire. What to do with that fire, because if it can be so on fire, you don't get anything done.
Yeah.
It's real dangerous. We have to be
Yes.
Focus and really know and understand where we're going. And it's okay to put some things on hold for a while. You can come back to them like I've done. I think just being aware of being intentional, being aware of what I really feel passionately, like what I want to follow right now. Where's my heart?
Yeah.
So we start doing things out of our passion, out of our heart, we start to get internal conflict.
Yeah.
Saying we fight ourselves on it and we don't feel good, and it's important. Yes, we pay the bills. Yes, I create courses to pay the bills.
Yes.
But then I do my creative things too, because you have to.
Yes.
It's a part of who you are.
Yeah. No, that's really good. That's really good. And I do. I like it that you're sort of multifaceted. That's really cool. And thanks for answering that time issue. I know, because I was wondering about that. How do you do all of that and still raise 13 children? Because it's just amazing.
There are some practical things that I do that I've done for many years, and I always get up before the kids.
Okay.
I always take that time. I have a routine. I have routines that I do because they work. Yeah. And if it doesn't work, then I tweak until it works again. And this balanced idea, I did a book called Balanced Parenting years ago. Being able to have a plan, know where you want to go, make a plan for where you want to go, head that way, and every week, literally, did it work? Did it not work? What did I like? What I didn't like? Okay, it's intentionality again.
That's really good. Yes. Yeah.
So I get up in the morning and I have certain things that I do, including reading Bible verses. I read specific input. Right now I'm reading Brendan Burchard.
Okay,
Motivation Manifesto.
Yeah.
I think I do a lot of Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
I think Ken Blanchard, a lot of the leadership people.
Yeah.
Just a lot of the classic. They're classic for a reason.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
That's what I want to put into myself before I enter the world.
Yeah, that's really good.
And then physically, I've got a calendar. That's my second Bible, and it's really hard. But trying to keep margin in the schedule is really important. Years ago, I taught a health class at the university level. We talked about margin. Richard Swenson, a book called Margin. Yeah. Making sure we're not putting back to back. Yeah. Really important. Making those decisions early in the week. Yeah. I know I'm not going to put things in back to back. Very important. Yeah. No, that's really good. I was just thinking of what you said, deciding early on in the week. That's what Michael Hyatt had on his blog was, what works for him is that he does Sunday night and decides for the week sort of obviously there's going to be stuff that comes up, right? But at least you can have a plan of action, absolutely. Right? And I've done that for years. I always look at my week ahead of time. I look at my day ahead of time. Sometimes I don't know what the next day is because I'm so focused on today. Yeah. But stop and take a peek and say, okay, get mentally ready for it. Get physically ready for it.
Yeah.
Before this morning, I just made 3 meals, 3 dinners. I put a chicken in the oven, some carrots. I put a big slab of beef in the crock pot for my kids. I'm not a real big beef eater, but they are. And we made some soup all at once. So, hey, because if I do that for an hour and a half, I just saved 3 meals that I have to do later in the week. So there are technical things you can, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, that's really good. Yeah.
Organizational things. I've always done grill day.
Yeah.
You know, in the summer where you grill a bunch of chicken and freeze it.
That's
that's
really good.
Pull it out and throw it in the oven. Throw it in a meal. Because if you want to be creative and have that time, you know, how do I make the time? You make the time.
Yeah.
There are little time savers you can do like that. Important, especially, you know, men and women, but especially women who are, you know, doing the web.
Trying to do it all.
Trying to do it all, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there are some physical tricks.
Yeah. That's really good. Yeah. No, I like that. I love time-saving tricks because they're you know, they obviously work, right? And yeah. And we do all get the same 24 hours in a day, so.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Oh, so I'm just trying to sort of just kind of go on with the next question here, but I kind of wanted to, if you wouldn't mind talking a bit more about this, just that, it's a little bit related to what you were talking about when you did that guest post on James Prescott's website, but you were talking about, you related the hero's journey in a novel, like the character arc, to our own lives and how we mess up as humans, but that we also have the power to go in a different direction. After we mess up, we don't have to stay sitting there. And we don't have to stay in our unbelief of ourselves and have the negative, you know,
negative loop
trail going around in our head. Yeah. And so I know there's a bunch of fiction writers too that listen to the podcast, and I think they'd be so interested in hearing your because it relates both ways, right? It helps us with character, but it also helps us with real life. So if you wouldn't mind just talking about that a bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
2 authors to know that most of us know already, but if you don't, Joseph Campbell was the father of the idea of the mythic structure. He was an expert on myth and went all around the world and basically realized that there is one story, variations of a story that goes through all of mythology and all across time and all across the world. I don't think that's by accident. I think that's by design. I think it's a God story, you know. But this mythic structure, if we follow this mythic structure in our story, the reader feels highly satisfied.
Yes.
Because it's a familiar structure.
Yeah.
The structure being that we have an ordinary world, 3 acts. We have an ordinary world, and we know something's not right in the ordinary world. We're introduced to our character. We're introduced to our hero. And then something happens. We have something that instigates change, and the hero has to, now there's no turning back. There's a door of no return.
Yeah.
Have to move forward. Now you have the middle half, you know, if we're quarter, half, and quarter, the middle half now of our story is this journey, this meeting problems and getting closer to our goal, but having more opposition.
Yes. Yeah.
Goal.
Yeah.
That's the center part of the book until it gets to a breaking point, and then we have our climax, and then we have the resolution. If we don't put the resolution in, our reader's left saying, "What? Wait, no. What happened to my story?"
Yeah.
Don't end there.
Yes,
right?
yes.
That's like the last Hobbit, where the dragon's flying and it stops, and everybody goes, "Ah!"
I know, exactly. That's what I felt too.
I went, "Ah!" You know, everybody made a noise in the theater. You know? Peter Jackson could get away with that, you know.
Yeah.
But the resolution wasn't there. Or you could do what Peter Jackson did in the Lord of the Rings movies, where he had like 7 endings. 7 resolutions.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you want to make sure every single story was wrapped up, you know. But this mythic structure, that's just like the Cliff Notes version. There are so many pieces to it. And in screenwriting, we have Blake Snyder's beat sheet, which tells, you know, certain beats of the story you have to meet at certain points. But it's all the same idea that certain things typically happen in a story.
Yeah.
Christopher Vogel then wrote another book, The Writer's Journey, which
Oh,
I use this in a class that I teach.
Yes.
And the writer's journey kind of has this idea of, it's not just a hero's journey in the story, it's our journey too.
Yes.
We are going through the hero's journey. We have things in our life that are obstacles that we're overcoming. We have messes, which is the blog post with James Prescott.
Yeah.
And we all mess up as human beings. We all fail. Two very famous people in the Bible that I love to read about and I love to think about are David and Joseph, because David made choices that were failure choices.
Yes.
Come on, killing a guy and sleeping with a woman and,
exactly.
stealing his wife,
Yeah.
Yet he was the apple of God's eye. He yet had a closeness with God. So that tells me, okay, we're all going to mess up.
Yes.
How severely we mess up, be careful. We all are vulnerable. But what I love about it is that David always came back to God.
Yeah.
He always felt the connection. He always said, gosh, I messed up. Psalm 51, creating me a clean heart, oh God, I've really messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joseph, on the other hand, it wasn't his choices as much as it was just stuff happening to him.
Yeah.
Thrown in a pit. He got, he had to be a slave. He was in prison. He had just awful years. And David had those too. He had, 40 years where he was being chased and people wanted to kill him. And all those cool psalms came out of that time. But these people, these two Bible heroes, if you will, they had let's start again moments. And when I say every moment is a new decision-making moment.
Yeah.
So I can really mess up. I can really but this second is fresh.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
And so we can take any mess, and turn it around. That's the hope that we all have.
Yeah.
The thing is, we have to be healthy enough to do that. We have to have healthy thinking.
Yes.
Our mind has to be renewed. We have to be tweaked and changed so that we're thinking in a healthy way.
Yeah.
And that's where most of us fail, is we don't get that learning in. We don't get that life-giving thought process stuff put in. That's why I love to listen to Tony Robbins and all these other people, because those are healthy thoughts.
Yeah.
Dr. Henry Townsend, I watched a video of him last night, and trying to think of some of these other people. Just putting good stuff in. We have moments. We call our car time with my teenagers. I have 4 teenagers at home. And the car time, driving to a dance thing or to whether we have to go to a medical appointment in Ann Arbor for my son, it's our learning time.
Yes.
And we put these CDs in. Things that typically adults would learn. You don't wait till adulthood. Oh my goodness, kids, don't wait.
Yeah, that's good.
But I hope, I'm really a proponent of lifelong learning.
Yeah.
And I hope to be this 90-some-year-old crotchety woman listening to somebody's, I don't know, want to be a podcast or whatever at that time, where I'm still learning and growing and becoming, because I think that's what we're meant to do. Yeah. So let's get back to this, the hero's journey. Obviously, we're going to mess up, but hopefully we're moving up the journey. When we see a plot points of a story, right? We're rising. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And you have something happen, it's, then you go down to a relaxing point, and well, that's life. But hopefully we're not rising to just that bad climax. We're rising to a better self.
Yes.
We're rising to better responses. We're rising to making choices. So in writing, what's really cool about story, I think, is that this mess that we create for the character, the more we ramp that up, the more people get emotionally involved in that and go, ooh, wait, don't do that. Please, don't go that way,
Yeah.
You never do that. Why are you doing it now? We get emotionally involved, but then it's a cathartic moment, right?
Yeah.
We live through that. And when a hero learns something or makes a good choice, it inspires us.
Yes.
To learn something and make a good choice. So we have such power as writers.
Yes.
As fiction writers, to create moments of hope, to create moments of deeper thinking, to bring out tough issues like suffering, like pain, like betrayal, any of the themes that you'd find in a story.
Yeah.
Those are themes we have to face every day.
Yes.
And so being able to write those in our story and ramp up that tension, like Donald Moss says.
Yes. Yeah.
Reading a freak out novel, make it worse. What if? What can happen to make it worse?
Yeah.
Just cranking that up so that what do we do in that situation if and when we get to that point where we'll all have crisis?
Yeah.
I tell my kids, you're going to have crisis. You're going to have betrayal. You're going to have. It's a part of life.
Yes. Yeah.
What do we do with it?
Yeah.
And that's where we want our hero to win.
Yes.
In the story. And there's a whole bad boy philosophy going on in some story right now. It's not been there for a while yet, and we can make characters very complicated, and I'm all for that too. Yeah. But I'm also all for what I call the God story. Why do we want things to work out in the end? Why is that in us?
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
We want things to be good in relationships. We want to have great relationships. Why? Because I think God puts that in there. He instilled in us the desire for connection, the desire to Him, to others. And so I think we do want good endings to the story.
Yeah.
It's a God-given desire because there is a good ending to the story coming.
Yes. Yeah.
But we don't have to wait. We can make those good endings now.
Yeah.
And that's the hope that we have. So that was a long answer for a short question.
No, I love that. That's really good. Yeah. So, sort of continuing a little on that theme. So when it comes to just our everyday, life, how do we, sort of stop that negative loop? When we get discouraged or, I thought this was going to work out and it didn't. And then sometimes we go on this trail like, I'm just not good enough, and it goes down right from there. And
creatives are the worst at that because the craft is so much of who we are.
Yes.
Right? So if I'm not making it as a writer,
yeah,
whatever we decided that is, there's the key right there. But if we think we have to make a certain goal or do a certain thing and we don't, we feel that we've let ourselves down, we feel the failure. How do we get past that? How do we... It's all, like you said, it's all here.
It is. Yeah.
It's the meaning that we make of this situation, and Tony Robbins talks about this.
Yes.
It's we make the meaning.
Yeah.
If we get a rejection letter, you can read as many stories on the web as a bazillion stories of people that got so many rejections. Yes. And then the book turned out to be a bestseller.
Yeah.
And the hope that, maybe the next one is the right one.
Yes.
You may give, if right here is where success is and you give up right here,
yeah,
you'll never know success. And so there's that hope, but defining success in our minds too.
Okay, yeah.
As Seth Godin says, success is just the expression itself. So if we make the expression, if we make the piece of art, if it's sitting and nobody sees it, hang on. Oh, I just dropped it. Hold on. There we go. So this is hanging up. This is just a little painting that I did, a little abstract. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, yes. Very nice.
Very 3D, abstract, feathers, all kinds of things in there.
I love that. That's great.
I did this for me. This is just a day I felt like I needed to do something for me. And does it make it any less art? I didn't sell it. I didn't give it to anyone.
Yeah.
It is my art. It is a part of me.
Yes.
I'm successful. I didn't sell it. I'm still successful.
Yes. Yeah.
And so our perspective is always important. Being able, I think your question was, how do I not feel kind of depressed? How do I...
Yeah. How do you stop the loop? Because sometimes it goes, you start with one thing, but then it's going to go downhill fast sometimes, right? I don't know.
I think a couple things that I do to stop the loop. We all have loops.
Yeah.
One is physical.
Yeah.
I make a physical change.
Yeah.
Get out of the room. Get out of the house. Get out of the area. Do something physically. Change your state. Change what's going on.
Yeah.
Because if you're just sitting...
Yes. No, exactly. Yeah.
Get out and move. Identifying. What am I looking for? What do I want? Why am I feeling this way? So really putting it out on the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do I really want out of this? Is that realistic? Is that a realistic expectation? If it is, okay, great. What do I change to get there?
Yeah.
So very logical.
Yes.
It's a process of thinking, and I alluded to this earlier,
Yeah.
where it's, you try something,
Yeah.
take an assessment. Did it work? What did I like? What did I not like? Okay, let's change what I didn't like. Make one small tweak, and that's where a lot of us fall down. We say, "Oh, I'm going to do this lifelong huge thing."
Yeah.
One small change. Try it out. Track it.
Yeah.
Did it work? And another rejection letter. Oh, okay. What are they saying I need to do? All right. And then getting encouragement.
Yeah.
Touching things like this.
Yeah.
Reading other people's stories.
Yeah.
Meeting with your friends. We're just all
Yes.
being part of professional organizations.
Yes. Yeah, those are, big encouragements, big helps, yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good. Okay. Well, Erin, that's just, I love those. That's good. I think it, and I think sometimes as creatives, we are maybe the worst at that. Just, feeling bad about ourselves or whatever, right?
We're hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
Every writer has self-doubt. Okay,
Yes.
so even the best writers have levels of self-doubt, and
Yes.
so it's just part of it, and recognizing it and kind of putting it out away from you, not owning it and letting it consume you.
Yes.
Putting it out there and saying, okay, that's part of it. What can I do about that?
Yeah.
Being proactive.
Yeah.
Just changing your mind about it. Put it out here and look at it.
Yeah.
Don't let it be a part of who you are in here.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Oh, it does. Yeah. No, that's really good. That's really good. Yeah. I mean, I love it that you talked about the fact that we don't have to wait until the end of our lives or the end of our story or the end of our novel that we're writing before we start living the best lives, or our characters start living the best lives. So would you just talk a little bit about that? I guess that when it's when we're facing something hard, like, okay, I'll give you an example from my own life, and this will make it easy.
Sure.
I had in November, I had this. I was just on a roll. I was determined I was going to get 50,000 words done for NaNoWriMo.
Yeah. A lot of that.
And I didn't. I got 32,000 words in, but not 50.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of, I don't know, something happened, and I'm trying to figure this out in my head. What happened? So we had in the middle of the month, so that would have been the 14th. That was our anniversary, and so I think I wrote just a couple hundred words, but it's like it went on a 3-day hiatus, and after that my motivation went down, and I know, and I was trying to figure out why would I, because before that I was doing at least 1,800. Most of the times it was over 2,000 words, because I had figured this out, right? How many words do you need so that you're going to get to 50,000, right?
Yeah.
And so anyway, so I mean, I did keep writing because I did get to 32,000, but because it was like this whole, and Christine Hassler talks about this in her book, Expectation Hangover, and I just did a blog post about that, where you have this expectation, and but it didn't work out. It didn't work out how you thought. It's like you're disappointed, and and I don't know. So would you just talk about that, and why sometimes when that happens, like in my case, I felt like quitting and giving up. Yeah. So would you just talk about that?
2 words: expectations and belief.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 key words to me, because our expectations really can wreak havoc with us. Unrealistic expectations.
Yes.
And then we start believing, because this, then that. Because I didn't hit 50,000 words, something's wrong. Because I was 3 days off, now it's going to be harder.
Yes.
And some of this can be subconscious. It doesn't even have to be right out there.
Yeah.
So our expectations, first off, we can have goals. We want to make them as realistic as possible. We can have expectations that, yes, I expect this, I believe it. But if it doesn't happen, it's like, okay, you know what? That's okay. What do I have?
Yeah.
It's here.
Yeah.
It's the way we look, and believing that what I have is enough.
Yeah.
Is, I think, the key. Because somewhere along the line, if we don't meet our expectation, we say, oh, okay, whatever, I can't do it.
Yes. Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's a habit.
Yeah.
A habit, a way of thinking.
Yeah.
It's a new way of thinking. And if you have to write it out and put it on a little thing.
I need to do that then.
That says, what good have I gained?
Yeah.
And where am I going? And I believe this is worthwhile.
Yes.
And I believe what I've done is worthwhile.
Yeah. Oh, that's really good.
30-something thousand is worthwhile. And so it's our perspective.
Yeah.
And can I be disappointed? Yeah, I can be disappointed. But then what? Make a choice. Because and it's okay. We need to not say, oh, everything's okay. And we don't want to be the flowery.
Yeah.
We need to be realistic about, wow, that was disappointing. Wow, that hurt. Wow, that makes me angry. I got angry at that.
Yes.
Be real, but then, okay, now what am I going to do with that emotion?
Yeah.
Now what am I going to do? Because I can sit here and feel bad about it and have it affect how I respond to everybody around me.
Yes.
How I respond to my writing and my goals.
Yes.
Or I can say, okay, today's a new day. Let's go.
Yeah.
And what did I gain from that?
Yeah.
What good from that?
Yes.
And we practice those ways of thinking.
Yes.
We may have practiced the negative ways of thinking a long time.
Yeah.
And so we need to retrain literally the pathways in our brain to think and to process and to believe in a whole different way. I do that, again, writing things and sticking them up on my board. I do that with what I listen to first thing in the morning.
Yes.
And when I go to bed, what I'm focusing on, it's intentionality.
Yeah.
If we want to change, we want to become something, it's intentionality. It's specifically, here's what I'm planning to do. Here's what I do. What was good, it's the same pattern. What do I tweak? And I believe that what I'm doing is worthwhile and good.
Yeah. No, that's really good. I think sometimes, sometimes I think you're, say for instance, a writer.
Yes.
Say that you've written your first book, or maybe even 2 or 3, and you didn't really get the response that you were hoping for, because inside of you had this thought that, this is going to just inspire and just help and entertain and whatever so many people, but it didn't turn out that way. And so you have these thoughts and then your last statement there, you start to question, I think, that what I'm doing is worthwhile. Well, really? And then you go back to, well, okay, so the first 2 books, really? Is it really worth? You just have these quotes in your head, right? Yeah. Yeah. So I guess you just gotta, if this is just really in you and you have this passion, you just gotta keep doing it. It's like the person with rejection letters, right?
But you feed yourself too. You can't just starve yourself, because you have to feed yourself with the positiveness, with the goals, with putting in front of what you want, and feed yourself with other. For me, it's the Bible. It's the people who motivate me. It's the speakers that get healthy thinking in my head.
Yes.
We have to keep feeding our spirit and feeding where everything comes from.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I know that's really good. I know that's what I do on a daily basis too. Actually, is read the Bible and that's awesome. Okay, so sort of switching a little bit. Would you share a time? I like to ask people this, and maybe it's not that comfortable, but I think people can learn from it. Is when just a time in your life when you failed in your entrepreneurial journey and you began to grow, and what you learned from that.
Yeah, we all have those times.
Yes.
Let's not say, oh no, it's been great. No. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And I think for me it was a time when there were some personal things going on.
Yeah.
And some personal struggles that took my emotional energy. Because I need, and most of us I think need an emotional energy to create.
Yes.
And it really pulled out my emotional energy, and I had to focus on some other tragic kinds of things that were going on. And I didn't live up to my expectations and my commitments.
Yeah.
So I had certain deadlines I had to meet. I had certain commitments I had to follow through on, and I didn't, because I was totally taken off guard by this event.
Yeah.
These events that happened, and I let things drop.
Yeah.
Okay. And when I took care of this, was all taken care of, and I came back and looked at the mess that was left here,
Yeah.
of those commitments that were dropped. It was
Yeah.
like, oh shoot.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And the fallout from that has lasted 2 years.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll just share personally, is when my son started going blind.
Yeah.
And I was teaching some courses online, and I sent a note to the parents and the family saying, I've got some things going on. Your feedback is going to be late. It's not going to be on time.
Yeah.
And some people understand that and some don't. I didn't
Yeah.
give them the details of my personal life. I didn't want to do that. I didn't think it was necessary. And it was late because I focused on what was going on over here. I had to just kind of show up, teach the class, and then go back over here, rush over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
What's going on. And by the time this was all taken care of and I went back, I'd lost a lot of families' trust.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Parents got upset.
Yeah.
Even this week,
Yeah.
there was something online saying, oh, no, that writing program, they don't get their feedback on time. This was one event 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and it's still following me today.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It affected a reputation,
Yeah.
which really, I like my reputation solid,
Yeah.
that bothers me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we all make choices. I made that choice. I don't regret the choice.
Yeah.
I feel badly that there's a fallout, and this, my entrepreneurial journey, whatever I was doing then, it didn't build the reputation I wanted to build.
Yeah.
But now what do I do with it?
Yeah.
I'm the best I can be.
Yes.
I try to do the best that I can. I can't focus on, that's the hardest thing, is when you feel you've failed in an area,
Yeah.
it wants to draw your attention.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
holds by the collar and pull
Yeah.
at you, and you can't do it. You
No.
can't. You live in regrets the rest of your life.
No.
So I think we're all going to have those things.
Yeah.
And again, it's what do we do with it?
Yes.
What do we focus on?
Yeah.
And can we get the truth out on the table?
Yeah.
Truth is, if I did my best, okay, even if I didn't do my best and I messed up, it's past.
Yes.
What am I doing now?
Yes. Yeah, no, I like that. I like that focus on, okay, so it's like kind of like forgiving yourself of whatever mess happened in the past and focus on where you are now. That's good. That's good. Okay. So sort of.
Well, that's life.
Yes, it is. It is life. Yeah. Yeah. So so what are some of your personal habits? It's kind of sort of a continuing thing, but that contributes the most to your success in writing and creating and moving forward. Would you say, and maybe you've had a great piece of advice from someone, or and something you could maybe pass on to creative entrepreneurs that are listening, that sort of thing.
Yeah. I want to speak to writers first. Okay. Two people highly influenced and continue to highly influence my writing career and my writing as a fiction writer. One is Kevin Anderson. Kevin Anderson is one of the most prolific writers today, and he works with Lucasfilm in writing a lot of the Star Wars adaptations.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The books. And Kevin Anderson came and spoke a couple of years ago to our MFA group. I went out and had pizza with him and some other people, and he said some things that really have stuck with me, in that you can write anywhere.
Yeah.
You can write anywhere. And I always thought, no, I have to have it just right to write.
Yeah.
No, he writes on the go. He has actually a recorder that he uses.
Yeah.
And which is also, you can write in different ways.
Yeah.
And so that changed my perspective, in that no excuses.
Yeah.
No excuses. Let go of my excuses and write.
Yeah.
The second is Russell Davis, who is my thesis advisor, who is also the Science Fiction the Science Fiction Writers of America former president.
Okay, yeah.
for a number of years. And he's basically sit in the chair and write. Do it. Stop talking about it and do it.
Just do it. Yeah.
You know, the old Nike, just do it.
That's awesome.
And so what has helped me and what helps me is that I schedule my writing times in my calendar.
Yeah.
I make dates with myself. I use my early morning hours.
Yeah.
More so than my late night hours. I've determined where I'm most productive creatively.
Yeah.
With new ideas, and when I'm most creative, nonfiction wise, it's a whole different part of the brain that I use.
Yeah.
And so I've identified those times and made those in my calendar as my times to write.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Things happen. Yes,
Yeah.
things happen. But I know, as talking about our calendar, on Tuesday morning and on this morning and on that morning, I'm going to do writing. And now sometimes, yes, 5:30 rolls around and I go, oh, I don't want to get up. You know? Let's get up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. And so it's respect for the writing time.
Yes. That's really good. Yeah.
And that to me has changed. You know, you can write anywhere. Don't give yourself excuses. But at the same time, there are processes to write, and I know what gets me into writing.
Yeah.
I know what the best circumstance for writing is and where that is. I have a couple different coffee shops.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's great.
Actually, I like the ambient noise in writing.
Yeah.
You look at my blog, the focus is on coffee. I'm a coffee fanatic. You know. I grew up on coffee. It's kind of a familial, fun connection with our family.
Yeah.
And just making the time, making the schedule, making it intentionality. Here we go.
Yeah.
Same word.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say in that you decide, I'm a writer.
Yeah. Yeah. You just do it. Yeah. No, that's really good. Okay. No, that's I think there's a lot of writers that will just really motivate them and inspire them to, keep going with their work.
We all feel the same thing.
Yeah.
I'll say, how am I going to fit it in? You fit it in. If it's important to you, you make it happen. If relationships are important to you, you make the relationship happen.
Yeah.
If we have the choice.
Yeah.
And if we really want this, find out what's keeping you from it. Is it self-doubt?
Yes.
Yeah. Fear?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a lack of belief in yourself? Then what do you do to change that? What do you say to yourself? The truth. This is a God-given passion that I have. If I don't have the skills, you find the skills.
Yes.
You get the skills. So much is out there. You don't have to do an MFA program. I recommend it. It is cool.
Yeah.
It does jump you light years ahead and teach you all kinds of really amazing things. But there's so much out there to learn. And Gotham Writers Workshop in New York, their classes, and there's just so much reading you can do and create and getting with a group of people that inspire you.
Yeah.
I have a couple people I write with.
Oh, that's great. Yes.
My one friend who's a screenwriter, Hollywood screenwriter, and another friend who, two friends who are with the Society of Children Writers, Book Writers and Illustrators, SCBWI.
Yeah.
Who are been very involved in that, and so we will meet once a week as well.
Yeah, that's terrific.
Inspires me.
Yes. Oh, yes. Actually, that's a really good idea. I hadn't thought of that. Just sort of meeting with people. That's good because that would help and inspire you.
We meet and we talk a little bit, but then we just sit together and write.
Oh, that's great.
And you're thinking, they're writing, I can write too, Yeah,
no, that would be inspiring. I get that.
Don't go on Facebook.
No, exactly. Right. Get off Facebook. That's good. Okay, so, this has been so helpful, Erin. And I know you've got lots of things, obviously, that you're writing and stuff. So would you just share what projects you have coming up, like in the next year or so? Or
yes. A couple of my number one projects. My number one project right now is an online course for authors, for entrepreneurs, to show how to make an online course. I've been an online course designer for 6-7 years now, and made some very good money at it. And and I know the authors, artists, we don't make a lot of money
Yeah.
And unless you have certain things that you do. Well, I'm teaching others
Yeah.
on an online environment is a way to not only share your passion, bring other people along, grow the tribe, grow who you are, grow others, but it brings in income too.
Yes.
And so a lot of people say, well, I have something to share, but I just don't know how to put it in a package for an online course. So I'm putting together, you can find information about it on my blog coming up here soon, but how to teach an online course through Kajabi Next, which is the platform that I'm using. And I'm really excited about that because I've already had a number of people who are using what I do. And they're like, oh my gosh, this was so easy. I was able to put my course together,
Oh, that's awesome. That will be very helpful. Yes.
Yeah. And so if you have something to share, if you have a passion, if you have a skill, you can teach people online.
Yeah.
And they will happily pay you for your skill.
Yeah.
So that helps support us as artists in the passions that we have. So that's one of the projects right now. I'm also working on a series called The Falcon Chronicles, which is a young adult, new adult kind of a series that's science fantasy.
Okay, right on.
And it's a many book series.
Yes.
And it's kind of epic. It's Star Wars-ish epic in its world, and it's, of course, has falcons in it and young people who have telepathy with the falcons, and it's just
I love that.
Some real fun things in it.
Yeah.
It should be done within 4 to 5 months.
Yep.
So the first book should be done then.
Yep.
And like I said, there are many books in that series. I have a screenplay that I'm working on right now that's almost done. That's a kind of a romantic comedy-ish movie that I hope to sell to get out. Like I said, my cousin works in LA as a producer, and so hopefully we'll be able to connect some people to that script. So a lot of projects going on, and my blog. And so I post probably 3-4 times a week on my blog.
Yeah.
And
I love your posts. They're very helpful. Yeah.
It's a combination of fun and seriousness.
Yeah.
I sometimes put real short ones in and others long. This last one this morning was a long one, but on leadership.
Yes. No, I love that. Yes. Yeah. You got a lot of great things to say, Erin. I appreciate your blog. Yeah, it's good. Yes. Well, it sounds like you're just, got lots on the go. And
we have ideas, right?
I know. Exactly. And so you just, keep going with your ideas. That's great. Well, I think so much of what you're doing is just, the online course that's going to be so helpful for people. But your books sound like a ton of fun, and that'd be so awesome if if your script was made into a movie. That'd be wow.
That'd be fun. That's the goal, right?
Yeah.
But I do have a number of books that are on Amazon. For 10 years, I did parenting. I spoke nationally on parenting because of having 13 kids, 8 who are adopted, and a blended family, and it just was able to help a lot with this. So there are some books on parenting on Amazon.
Yes.
I have a book called Simplified Writing 101, which is a textbook that some colleges use.
Okay.
And some high school programs use.
Yeah.
So how to do academic writing.
Yeah.
And some other books in that series that I'll return to soon.
Yeah. Oh, that's really great. Wow. I just appreciate all that you've shared today, Erin. It's just been so helpful, and so whoever's listening, go and check out. So do you have it under Erin Brown Conroy, or do you have your books under? Yes. Okay. So go check out her books on Amazon, or you probably have them at erinbrownconroy.wordpress.com, right? Yes,
that's correct.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So go check out her books, and just kind of what she's up to on her blog, and you can find her also on Amazon too. Thanks, Erin. This has just been amazing. I've been so inspired. And I'm sure other people have been too that have listened. To just keep going and in their creativity, and to be intentional. I think if there's a word that I learned, from talking with you, was just to be intentional with everything that we're doing, right? And just to keep refocusing, right? So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Iron sharpens iron, and writers sharpen writers.
Exactly.
Being in that community.
Yes.
Keep watching things like this. Keep listening to things like this.
Yes.
Keep the momentum going. And it's okay if you don't get 50,000 words or if you have 3 days off. That's okay. Today's a new day.
Yes.
This second is a new second.
Yeah. I love that. I love that.
Look at perspective.
Yeah.
Let's just start right where we are and go.
Yeah. I love that. That's great. Well, I sure appreciate just taking the time out to do this interview, Erin.
Absolutely. It's fun. It's fun.